My name is Margaret Lovell, and I've spent most of my life enjoying myself doing sculpture. I work mainly in bronze, so a lot of the work I do in perhaps plaster first and then cast it into bronze later. And I just feel very fortunate that I've been able to spend my life doing something that I really enjoy. I think it's really important to be able to do this in life. Well, a few years ago, it happened because we had a cordless phone, and I thought that was going to be really useful, because if I'm working in the studio, or very often if I'm working in the garden when it's a nice day, and maybe I was waiting for a phone call, I thought a cordless phone would be really useful. And so we got this cordless phone, and at the same time we went on to a tariff whereby you paid so much a month, and then you could have unlimited calls locally and nationally. So of course, to get my money's worth, I made lots of calls to friends or relatives. I did have a couple of relatives that were sick at the time and needed support, and so I did find myself using the phone an awful lot then. And then I realised I was getting a little bit of pain in my ear, and gradually that pain, if I stayed on the phone, the pain would go right through my head as if it was trying to get out this side. And I realised that there was a problem then using the phone. So I knew nothing about electromagnetic sensitivity or anything like that at the time, but gradually things got worse, and I found that even other electrical appliances in the home, like I couldn't have the microwave on, or even if I had the cooker on or the washing machine, it was giving me, pains in my head. And other things have developed since then. I can't watch television for any length of time without becoming affected by it. And one of the other things is I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And I was actually a lecturer at City of Bath College in the sculpture studio, and I found that I had to give that up because it was making me so ill. I think this was because in the studio there would be the pendulum of electric points for every person working along their bench. And so the room, I had one of these gadgets that measure the electromagnetic fields in a particular place, and people have them to find which room is best, or which is the best end for their bed or something like that. And I had one of these. I took it into the sculpture studio at the college, and it went right off the danger scale. And I found that although I'd had a really busy day at college and quite a long drive to the college from where I was living in the country, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, although I'd be absolutely exhausted. So I had to give up my job because it was just making me feel so ill, just the one day a week that I went. And gradually, through the internet and through other people sending me articles and information, I find that there's an awful lot of people who suffer the same symptoms as I do, but lots of people don't really realise exactly what it is, because of course the medical profession have no answer for these things. So it just makes you feel a bit intimidated when you go along to the doctor and tell them the problems, and the doctor says, oh, it's all in the mind or something, and meanwhile, you're suffering and trying to struggle with a situation, and you do feel very isolated. I was very fortunate because the BBC wanted to do a documentary about electromagnetic sensitivity, and they got in touch with me and asked me if I would be willing to take part. And they did about a 10-minute documentary. At the time we were living on the Mendips in England, and things were so bad there that I actually used to sleep in a little wooden chalet in the garden. In the programme they called it a shed all the time. It really was quite a nice little wooden chalet, but of course I could isolate myself from any electrical appliances there. And so they did this film, and as a result of that, I had a few people get in touch with me, and one of them was an email from New Zealand. It said that there was an appliance, a device that could help me if I was willing to try it. And so of course I said yes please, and you know, a week or so later I had this pendant come through the post, and it's very comfortable to wear. I wear it all the time. At night I usually have it by the side of my bed or under the pillow, because I tend to strangle myself a bit otherwise with it, but very, very comfortable to wear. And it balances out the bad electrical fields around you, and so you can be nearer things that are happening, and nearer, you know, if you're on the train and somebody's got the computer on or something like that. Normally I just wouldn't be able to stay around, but with the pendant, it does help obliterate all the bad things, and it helps you to keep sane, really. One of the worst symptoms is insomnia, and that's just like a vicious circle in life, really, because if you haven't slept well that night, the next day you're tired, and simple things become stressful, and life generally is much more difficult. And so sleep is really, really important. I mean, I had tried various things like melatonin, which should help you relax, and of course I think it's the bad low frequencies prevent your brain making natural melatonin. So I did have some tablets that I got in America, but they didn't really have a great deal of effect, and so then I was really ready to try something else, and David sent me one of these pyramids, and it's just such a wonderful little thing, because you can have it by the side of the bed. In fact, I keep it under my pillow at night, and if I'm wake up in the night, because sometimes I might go off to sleep at first and then I'm woken up because of something that happened, or somebody has phoned up and I've had to answer it, or something like that in the evening, and so I keep this under my pillow, and then I just put my hand on it so as I have it in the palm of my hand like that, and it just gives me a kind of contentment, a kind of a wholeness, a well-being feeling. It relaxes me to be able to go to sleep. I mean, I don't need to know how it works, it doesn't matter, I just know that it does work, and it's just such a wonderful thing to have something tangible that can help you in a situation when really very few people understand what's going on, and even if they care, they can't do anything about it. So the pyramid is just a wonderful thing to just help in all these what really is fairly unbearable circumstances otherwise.